Free agency is here.
Wow.
Sing it out with all the energy of your heart.
Yeah.
That's what Jordan could muster on this cold, blustery, slow, almost winter day with free agency opening. Welcome, everybody.
Cole, I'm going to have to be honest with you. I was expecting like a whiz-bang pop. Now, you and I...
to just happen around you?
Yeah. Oh. Like I would be, doing my dishes or something, and I'd say, a disturbance in the force.
That must be the start of free agency.
Yeah, something's happening. So we've not watched the ESPN special, which I understand is kind of the thing that has happened. And we're going to watch that on VOD Squad here in not too long. But at least from the Thieves account, it's been pretty quiet.
Yeah, not a whole lot to report. But the thing is, there are some details if you pay attention that you might have missed. So there's always the action through inaction thing, and we're seeing a little bit of that today. So yes, we only have one huge piece of news to talk about, but we have plenty of implied news as well. Yes. So everyone, welcome back for this free agency show where we're just going to run through. Actually, this will be on the shorter side as far as our podcasts typically go, where we'll run through what we know. We'll actually run through what we don't know at the same time, because like I said, those will kind of say some things about that as well.
It's like playing Sudoku. Like you got to look at what you don't know
to figure out what you do know.
There it is.
Look at that beautiful analogy from a man with the beard, with the real beard, Jordan. So
we got double beard on this.
You guys know the drill. Typically during 100 Talk, we don't do a whole lot of chat reading. But chat is just overwhelmingly about my beard right now. It's not going so well, but it's not going as bad as I thought. So we'll see. We have decided to pick up the option to extend the beard for another couple of weeks and see how it pans out. We're not committing anything. We're not giving it a max contract.
No buyout.
But it's possible that my wife will buy out the beard.
Yeah, I was going to say, or someone in chat. Just let us know.
Yeah, just let us know.
Everything has a price.
All right. Let's talk about this here. I think what's at the top of everyone's mind is the announcement about our new mid laner, which again, we have not seen the ESPN free agency show yet. As you may have seen, we're going to VOD Squad that show right after this stream. So when we finish our podcast, we'll do a quick break and then we'll come back and VOD Squad that. Right. But we do have a confirmed report from ESPN.
Breaking news
about our mid laner that you guys are probably all aware of. ry0ma has been reported to join the squad. So if you're like me, when you heard that ry0ma was going to be possibly joining 100T, you were like, not sure I know who this guy is.
Yeah.
Which is always a wonderful place to start, especially for those of us who host podcasts where we talk about, what all this is. I see Jordan looking at the Twitch chat as Moaz gifted 5 subs to the community. Thank you, Moaz, so much, man.
Moaz,
always here in support. He even descended from his YouTube throne to our Twitch chat to gift a bunch of subscriptions away. What a real one. What a real one.
Thank you,
this
sir.
Is to celebrate ry0ma coming 100 Thieves.
Welcome, ry0ma.
Welcome, ry0ma. Moaz is happy you're here. Look, he's coming from the OPL. Yes. From a team called the Bombers, which, Jordan, does that name hold any significance for you? I'm curious. The Bombers.
I mean, yeah, they had been to Worlds.
Oh, no, that's not what I was looking at. So okay. Jordan may not remember this. I was going to see if he did. As you know, Jordan and I have known each other forever.
Oh, bro, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, I'll let you spill it. Let's see if you remember.
Was it the Blair Park Bombers?
That's right. The name of our soccer team when we were in first grade, second grade?
Yep.
That's right. The Bombers. So I'm already a massive fan. Exactly. Already ready to go on this. Here's the thing about the Bombers. They actually have done pretty dang well in the OPL since ry0ma has been on the squad. They did end up missing the World's Play-ins, but they did do some pretty excellent work throughout the split. They made MSI. They went 2-4 at MSI, and we had some fun moments from ry0ma even, especially as I was shown a particularly cool outplay against Fangvu Buffalo. That was amazing. That we'll have to tweet out. We will definitely have to tweet out because it was incredible.
If you've not seen that play and you're still, the verdict is out on ry0ma. One play does not make a player. One play a player does not make. But the boy can play LeBlanc. Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He has a decent LeBlanc. We'll say that. So I'm actually super interested to learn about this guy, to start watching his streams, watch some of his play. We do know that he was teammates for a while with FBI, who we know made a transition into NA. He has spent some time with our old friend Huhi, made the support transition. And so FBI and Huhi were working together in the bot lane there. Jordan, this is an import mid laner. Okay.
It's an import mid.
How do you feel
from Australia?
How do you feel about the news that we now have an import mid laner?
All's right in the world.
You think so?
No. That's a gross oversimplification. I mean, I think you need to have an import mid. Welcome to NA, the land of import mids. I know a lot of people in the community were pretty hyped up about potential 100 Tanner. 100 Tanner time. 100 Tanner time. Apparently, it is not that time.
Yeah.
But what I'll tell you is, I was just doing a quick search. I'm gonna do what I usually do. I'm gonna say I think the guy's young, and I'm gonna look at chat for somebody to actually tell me his age.
That's how Jordan, instead of Googling, that's what Jordan does. He goes, I think he's
young. I did a sneaky Google and I couldn't find his age, but I think it's young. I think he's young years old, approximately. He's a younger player, and the mechanical is there, right? We've seen the pop off. It's been witnessed. It's been recorded. So I think that it checks a lot of the boxes that we had talked about last time we had a show, which was, if we're looking to the future, who could start to fill some of these spots for us? And I think this is the kind of player who you could see doing that.
Right. Now, chat is pointing out, rightfully so, that that doesn't mean he's necessarily going to be in the starting position for us. So
correct.
That is technically correct. I would be shocked if he didn't, just because we kind of know what we've gotten in the past. So technically, again, we do have Sligo on the roster, which we'll talk about later. But yes. My impression is that we are trying to rebuild this team. And if you have an import player, you're going to try and work him into that rotation, assuming that, assuming that you don't have a super strong domestic option. So.
Right. He's one of those rarer young players, unless you're talking about some of like the really top tier teams from the top tier leagues, who he's a younger player with a lot of mechanical ability, raw talent, with some pretty big experience. The stuff you rattled off, those are huge stages. Those are the biggest stages you can get to. So, Worlds experience, MSI experience, that's super valuable. And I think probably the difference between a player coming out of OCE versus a player like, you think of some of the younger players that we've put on big stages. He got to that point by playing with and through his team, right? It's not like there were a lot of people who were carrying him, or like they had to do a last minute roster swap, and that's how he found himself on that stage. Like, he got there through consistent play at the local level. Not saying that competition would necessarily be the same level, but just getting there, I think, is a very positive thing. He built up his career to the point where he's making it to these big stages.
Yeah. Also in his history, he was on Chiefs a couple times, and it seems like, from my cursory research that I did, he actually performed pretty well there too. So like Chiefs were good during his tenure. So yeah, we don't know a lot about this guy, but we'll be looking forward to getting to know him and seeing how he can impact the team. Obviously, this is this is something that kind of came out of left field for a lot of people, right? It's not necessarily the kind of signing we were expecting looking at this thing maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Rumblings of the rumor started, I think, through Travis, like during the last Hotline League or whatever, or maybe even not there, but Travis certainly had brought this rumor to the forefront. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. Again, I do think that he is going to be starting for us. If I'm wrong, sorry about that, but that's what kind of how it feels to me.
I saw somebody else mention the new academy rule. Credit where credit's due in chat. Maybe it was Milla. Yeah, Milla. So yeah, OCE is in that category of regions, right? Where you get a little bit more flex to bring one of those players in. You can bend import rules a little bit for your academy.
Yeah, meaning, and just for everybody, that you can now have 2 imports on your academy team playing that come from certain minor regions, and that is one of them.
Yep. Is it both of them have to come from minor region or just one?
No, I think it's just I'm just saying like you can bend that rule. So
we could see, right? I mean, that rule it gives us more options.
Mm-hmm.
So he could still go to that starting spot. He could be flexed into the academy much more easily. You're not potentially tying yourself into some of these other roster kind of binds that we're so familiar with over the last year.
Yeah.
Which would be great to avoid.
Let's so there's like lots of stuff, like ry0ma is connected to some other things that we're going to talk about in a little bit, but because we have so many things to hit, let's just kind of keep rattling down. Because one thing I do want to point out is that we have had a few apparent releases happening at the same time.
Wait, before we get there, can I do my thing and interrupt you?
Mm-hmm.
2 really quick and important points most important, I'd say, of anything we've talked about. ry0ma starts with an RY. We've got great luck so far with RY mids. Ryu.
Yes.
So that's the namesake is there. And then also importantly,
I thought you were going to say something.
No, it's just, I mean, I'm a man of science and I know science when I see it. It can't go wrong. He's a mastermind. The other thing that's important is there's a 0 in his name, which we got a little probably there, probably love. So
nice.
I got good vibes, good name vibes, good juju on this one. I think it's going to work out well. If I had to give my expert opinion, my analyst take, the name is going to bring us to victory here.
Nice.
Back to the programming.
Yeah. Well, so talking about the restarting, Ryu has now officially been let go from the team, which is a very, very sad thing, because we would all like to have Ryu and hold him in our hearts the entire time. I don't want to see him anywhere else. Heart. Yeah, I want to see him still with us in some capacity, even if he's just like to smile and wave in the back. I mean, how much would you pay for that? I'd pay a little bit for that.
Probably more than his going rate is my guess, like salary wise.
Yeah, I'll pay him a competitive salary to stand around and wave in the back.
You just sign over your paychecks to him as they come into your account. That's fine.
Yeah,
you're thinking your house, right? Like have him just hang around your house.
But here's the thing, Jordan. Do you have a particular favorite Ryu memory?
Okay, man. There's so many. I think my favorite memory is the insane Akali outplays. It's and here. Let me unpack that a little bit. What a delightful treat to get to walk down memory lane on Ryu here. That was like the end of his 100 Thieves career, right?
Was the CLG game, right?
The CLG game. Those were the last plays he made. I think were those the last plays he made? 400 Thieves.
Well, no, because we lost.
More.
Yeah, we lost to Optic after that. Yeah. But this was what got us into the playoffs. It got us into a tiebreaker for the opportunity to go to the playoffs. Yes.
So just that insane display of talent, the supreme display of talent, which they later turned into an ultimate. So now we can never say again.
Is it named after him? Probably.
It if it were on Akali, I would say you're 100%. Absolutely, it is. But just. It was such a cool thing to see him basically hauling the team into playoff contention and ending on a high note. Just some of the best mechanical Akali plays I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, it was really fun. He just got in there and blew up a couple people to save the game a couple times.
Yeah, a couple times. And plays that if he did not make the game, surely would have ended immediately.
Yeah. Well, look, Jordan, I wrote a quick little tribute to Ryu. I think we'll read
I would love to hear
We'll
it.
do a reading of this tribute before we move on. But we did want to just acknowledge him, right? Because he's meant so much to us. Okay, so allow me to read a brief tribute to Ryu. I'm not going to turn off my lights, but thank you for doing so out of respect.
It's just a little warmer.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Excuse me. To touch Ryu is to hold a delicate butterfly, perched in your hand, fragile and still. Brush a wing, and it could be all over. And you'd be stuck with a significantly worse mid lane situation. May you reach that heaven, a place of no suffering, no burdens, no pain, no Zeds. May your legend live on as mysterious and incomprehensible being. An angel? A god? Something more? We will never know. And we shouldn't. NA will contemplate your majesty. Thinkers will think. Poets will poem. Tomes will be filled. And we will be ne'er closer, ne'er farther, but we will always remember Ryu. The end.
That was so beautiful, man.
Just had to get it out of my system.
You said poets will poem. You just hit him with a poem there. That was good
I'm
stuff.
one of those poets poeming.
Yeah. I just can't believe you did one for each player who is exploring options, each one longer than the last.
That's correct. Also, quickly, a shout out to Dylan Craven, Master of the Treasury, giving away 5 subs to the community. We love you, buddy. Okay.
Whoa.
Oh, so Ryu, yes, is gone. R.I.P. We love him. We'll miss him. You know who else is gone that we'll love and we'll miss? Anda.
Our boy Anda.
Who, when I heard the official, because we kind of suspected this might be coming, but when we heard the official tweet, my first thought was Jordan is probably going to tweet about the play against IG. Did you want to talk about that really quick?
I would love to talk about that. And just to put a quick plug in, I didn't tweet about it, but I did hit the Discord. I did hit the
is it on our Discord? Okay, got it.
Yeah, and I said
my fault.
I didn't actually link the play, but some good Samaritan did pull it up and put it in. Do you want me to talk about that play?
Yeah, just really quick.
Like this is
just remind us of Majesty.
Worlds 2018. Put yourself there. We're playing against IG, which at the time people didn't understand to be world beaters, right? They're like, it's just like it's a Chinese team. What are you going to lose to them? and so
may or may not be accurate, but okay.
Yeah. Well, nobody thought they were going to win Worlds. Everybody assumed that Korea would carry it. Anyway, game against IG. It's level 2, top river, and Anda is having a little stroll down the river, and he gets to.
It's actually level 1. It's actually level 1.
I think he hit 2.
2 happens during the fight, which is the key to why we got
Must
a
be
double.
The scuttle.
Yeah.
So he's walking toward the bush, and his spidey sense just starts tingling, and so he turns around as I think it was Ning.
Yeah, Ning was in the pixel bush. Yeah.
Ning's in pixel, and he hook shots out. It must. I imagine that Anda just has a full body adrenaline dump. Like
when Ning hook shots, yeah,
of course, because it's out of the shadows, right? Just this hook shot coming. If you're a jungler, there's no mistaking that. So he dodges the hook shot, and then kind of just like I watched it again very recently. Amazing how long he doesn't die in the river here, because who else shows up but Rookie, and so it's a full on party at that point. Ssumday and the Shy stop on down to just have a little fun. Anyway, long story short, Ryu, the GOAT, comes up and helps out, and we get a sweet double kill to start the game off
against future world champions Invictus
future
Gaming.
World champions and like MVP in every position kind of deal. And I got the sick outplay. He should put that on his resume if he didn't already.
Yeah. So Anda had a great academy split also recently. And generally very likable guy, in my opinion. So I'm a little sad that it didn't work out for him with us, especially because we had really high hopes for him after his Worlds performance. He was arguably our best player at Worlds. Not definitively, but arguably. And then speaking of junglers, Fragas, the mega cutie known as Fragas, has also been allowed to explore his options. Technically, he's still under contract. I will say that.
Right.
But yes, he is exploring options, which means he is likely going to not continue with this roster.
You know who had great things to say about Fragas on Twitter?
Amazing.
And our mental coach. That's not his position, and I can't remember his name.
Doug?
I'm very sorry.
Dr. Doug?
Dr. Doug.
I didn't see the Dr. Doug tweet. I love
yeah,
Dr.
man.
Doug.
He hit him with the retweet with comment. He's like, outstanding, dude.
Yeah.
Fragas. Cutie. Mega cutie.
Yeah. Mega cutie, man. We hope he lands in a good place.
Yeah.
So actually interesting you brought up amazing. Do you know technically he's still on our roster too? So
is he under contract?
Technically he's under contract, according to the LCS contract database, at least. Okay. So again, he's another situation where he is being, quote, allowed to explore his other options. And he is likely not going to continue with us, but according to the LCS contract database, he's under contract with us through 2020.
Well, that's interesting.
It is. I fully expect him to not continue with the team. I think he's going to find a landing spot. He's obviously available. So
would that require a buyout, or if we just release him from contract?
It would probably just be him being released from the contract.
Yeah.
So
yeah, good guy, 100T. Let's see what happens.
That's right. Okay. While we're running through that, do you know who? Let's see. Actually, let's jump to a small piece of news that was just given to me actually right before we went live. Which is that our good friend JungleJuice has extended for 2 years. Friend of the pod, JungleJuice.
Yeah.
Joseph Jang has
fantastic news.
Been allowed to continue with the team as a strategic coach. So apparently this was announced in the 100T Discord by Melk. So coming from the official sources there. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm happy for him. So congratulations to JungleJuice.
Isn't it weird that this world we live in, where if it's not on Twitter, it's almost not considered official?
Yeah, it's actually goofy. It's a little backwards, isn't it? Yeah.
But I think that's really good news. He's somebody who, over the last year, has kind of moved up into a position of greater responsibility. Started off as academy coach for us, then moved up into a more strategic coach role with the main squad. And I'll be super interested to see. I mean, clearly, Papa Smithy and Zix have liked what they've seen and the conversations they've had with the JungleJuice. So, JungleJuice is loose.
Yeah, it's cool. It's good to have him. I'm happy about that. Okay,
returning back. Can I just add this again?
Yeah.
Every time you see the guy on stage, he just looks like he knows exactly what he's doing. I know that doesn't. That's not like one of the success factors for this whole thing, but sometimes you see a coach on stage and you're like, "What are you up to? What do you got plans?" They kind of got a book and they're like, what? Not Joseph, man. He knows what's up. Keep it up, Joseph.
And welcome for another 2 years. So here's where we are. I'm going to say what our remaining roster is again, according to the contract database, because there are a couple interesting things there. Ssumday still remains under 100T contract.
Yes.
Fake God. So there's the top lane guys. As I mentioned, technically Amazing and Fragas are here. Saligo is still in the contract database. Bang is still in the contract database, and Prismal. Okay? Mm-hmm. And that is it. So that is 7 players. Ssumday, Fake God, Amazing, Fragas, Saligo, Bang, Prismal. Again, we are assuming that Amazing and Fragas are not going to be with the team going forward. Mm-hmm. So that's really 5 players that we have, plus the ry0ma, right? So it brings us back up to 6.
Yeah.
You know who's not in that list?
Cole, I have a feeling I know you're going to say. But go ahead and say it.
Face of the franchise, Aframu, is, again, according to contract database, he is now officially a free agent.
Right.
So free agency has begun, which means as of today, he is a free agent. So unless there's been a report that I haven't seen in chat, you can tell me, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Aframu is out there up for grabs. And perhaps the team is working on signing him. Perhaps they aren't. Interestingly enough, about 2.5 hours ago, somewhere in that window, our other support, who is officially a free agent per LCS contract database, tweeted a happy face. Nothing else, just a happy face. So how are we reading into that?
Boy, so many potential things to read into. I don't know. Is that kind of a meme for free agency
It
day? Just a
probably
tweet,
is,
a
but
big
it
smiley
also
face.
could mean something at the
It
same
totally
time.
could. It could mean
That's why
everything, or it
this
could
is
mean
free
nothing.
agency madness, is that we are left here to speculate on what this means.
Stunt plays a famously safe Braum, Cole. I don't know. I don't know if you've seen that in action.
Someone in chat said, Militime says he got good dinner. That's okay. That's a possibility as well. But you know what also is a possibility? Maybe he's going to start. Maybe he's going to move up. Maybe he's going to
maybe he's signing with someone else.
He could be signing with someone else. Again, Aframu is a free agent. The rumors are swirling that he may be going elsewhere. What on earth is happening in the sport? We technically do not have a support on roster right now. That's all I'm pointing out.
Yeah. And technically we have two junglers, neither of which are we feeling like will start in either team.
Yeah.
Wacky times.
Back to junglers. You know what? The rumor is also swirling around about Meteos making a return to 100 Thieves, which people are linking ry0ma's ranked play with that, right? They were apparently duoing together.
Sorry, with Meteos?
Yeah, ry0ma and Meteos. So if chat can corroborate that report, that's what I have heard. What would it mean to bring back Meteos to 100 Thieves, Jordan?
Okay, Cole, let's have a conversation, shall we? What would it mean? So I think I thought that a year ago, plus a year and a half ago, you and I were done doing this read between the lines game regarding Meteos specifically. And I think that by the end of it, we had divined out like a pretty plausible story. If Meteos comes back, do you know what that tells me? It fills in the last blank in this page. And it's, for me, it's that there's a person in the team who really didn't see eye to eye with Meteos and who had a permanent disagreeable
rapport with
rapport that just could not be fixed. And do you know who that is, Cole?
Sabrina. No, I'm totally joking. I'm totally joking. That's not connected to anything other than I wanted to say someone who is no longer with the organization.
Yeah. I was also gonna do the same joke, which was Afro-Mo. But it could. So here's the moral for this story. We'll never know. And if you're trying to figure out why, you should just stop, because it could be Afro-Mo, it could be Sabrina. There's another coach from our past, I think his name was Jason. He's gone. There's so many things it could be. The most plausible is that Prolly didn't see him playing into Prolly's future plans.
Yeah.
Prolly has left the building. And does that mean they've died? I hope that that's not what that means. Prolly is
no,
alive and well.
No, yeah, it is.
Wasn't Elvis left the building?
Okay, sure. Yes. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, anyway.
But look. Yes.
Prolly's not here. So maybe this means he's coming back.
Right. And I just want to back up, because people are saying in chat, don't even joke about Sabrina being I was totally just joking. And you guys know, I don't think it was a 100 Thieves problem. I think it was a Meteos problem more than anything else.
Cole is on record multiple times saying as much.
Yeah. So that is interesting one for me, if Meteos is to make a return, because he's someone who clearly has played super well recently. Mm-hmm. Right. He appears to be a pretty in-demand player, and did well in Optic. He did well for us, honestly, too. But
he did. Remember when we looked back?
Yeah, and we were like, this is totally
Meteos
different.
He's snapping.
Yeah. But the thing is, it was just from my perspective, putting the breadcrumbs together, there were some personal issues, and I believe that they happened to be more on the side of Meteos not backing down. And that's going to be interesting to have him back in the fold to see if that changes at all, or if it's just a non-issue. Because if he comes back, perhaps it's a non-issue and it never comes up. Perhaps he changed, and there's always that, the 1% option where maybe Cole was wrong. Only 1% chance. You heard it here. 1% chance. But in any case, I'm going to be like, if that happens, just because I don't know what to make of it.
I think my primary concern is if part of the reason he left in the first place was due to disagreements with other players, I'm not saying like I'm not saying with any one player. If he just couldn't gel with the roster, if you bring in a very new look roster and you have him as a piece of that roster that doesn't necessarily play well with others, like let's say he's toxic. Let's just put it out there. I don't know if he is, but let's entertain that possibility. I really don't know if that's a dynamic you want to introduce to a team that should expect to be losing some games, right?
Yeah.
I think that could be a powder keg ready to go. And I saw somebody in chat earlier, don't think I didn't see this. It said that ry0ma has served some time away from the game for also having some toxicity issues.
Right.
These
Which
are all
I don't know
important
that,
things.
by the way.
I don't know that
assuming
either.
that's true, right?
Yeah, we're well into the rumor zone now, so this is all fine. It's fair game. But that's my concern, Cole, is that if we bring Meteos back, does the midpoint of the season come around, the end of the split, and we are having to do the same show, which we just run the first show over again. I think that would be fine.
I literally will do that. Don't tempt me, because I will commit to running our same show about Meteos if that's the case. Look, obviously that's not the mentality that we're going to really come into it with, but in my opinion, yes, it would still be a possibility. So if he is coming in, you have to hope that Zix has a way with him, that Papa Smithy has a way with him, and that the new pieces of the team gel a little bit better in that situation so that it doesn't even come up, yeah. And I would ordinarily say when you win, like everything's all good, but we were winning when it happened. So
right, that's true.
I don't really know how to judge that thing, but what I know for sure is that we're going to look a lot different this year than we did in previous
like you just said, we have 5 players between 2 squads, so it will look different. Okay, if that's breaking news, then hit your news alert. I want to put this out there too, in all fairness. I think it's possible that you can be on a winning team that is not playing the game well or to your strategy. And so you can get mad at people on your team even if you're winning. And I think the inverse is true as well, right? Where you can be on a squad who's not picking up wins as much as the fans would like, but you can still feel like you're making progress and you're still seeing people make the right plays.
Right.
So it's possible, right? I don't think that if you are somebody who, like, you could be a player who gets mad at people for reasons other than we didn't kill the Nexus, right? That's possible. So that's my only hedge I'll put in there is I don't think we should automatically assume that since he had disagreements in the past, he's going to have disagreements in the future. If he's on the team, this is all if.
Yeah, this is all an if. And I would say I agree with you on paper, but I'm still going to be starting from the side where I believe he had a significant role in what happened before. So
yeah,
that'll be a difficult one to cover, but we'll see if we have to indeed cover it. From what we are hearing, there are not a whole lot of jungle talents that are available there, so options are maybe not as thick and robust as we would like. So perhaps that leads us to some more dire straits there, and we make some exceptions. But I don't know. I've said this before, but I'm kind of at this point, barring a couple of my personally players that I just don't really care for, I'm pretty zen about what's going to happen with this roster. Obviously it's crazy up in the air right now for us. Yeah. But I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm just going to watch this happen, know that they've put it out already, that there's a very real possibility that this is just a developmental year for us, and just try and hold them accountable for what the strategy is said to be. So if we see the development, if we see the improvement, if we see the long-term health of the team get better, then okay, I'm good with it. I'll roll with it.
Right. And this is a little bit of familiar territory, but I think it was last week now, actually. This is the first time we've done 2 shows in 2 weeks and months. But for me, I think it's not so much tracking wins and losses, right? We're accustomed to the feeling of not making playoffs. We've been there. We know it's not the end of the world. Things can still happen. It really will be. And we've gotten better for this too, right? We've gotten better at watching for, are we making improvements? Is there a noticeable difference? Are the things that we're trying working? We've gotten pretty good at that as a fan base. I have to hope that the new people in the organization are starting with that mindset, right? Because I think that can be a tricky one to enter into as a staff. So that will be, for me, that will be the proof that they're going to go about this in the right way.
Sure. Okay, so before we wrap up, let me just ask you a question. So Jordan,
yes,
we have Ssumday and Bang on the roster as of this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Both you and I have said in the past that we don't believe that will be the case in 2020. We think that we'll get rid of one of them.
Yes.
With ry0ma, if he is indeed starting and taking up an import slot on the LCS team.
Yep.
Knowing what has happened, what has transpired in this brief free agency window, would you like to comment on if you think Ssumday or Bang will be the one to go?
All right. And you're asking me specifically, what do I think is most likely to happen? I think it's most likely that Ssumday leaves, because I think that he is, differential talent in the top lane in North America. And I don't think that the perception of that has significantly changed within the LCS.
Mm-hmm.
So I think his value is going to be probably, I mean, of course it's not as high as end of 2018 Ssumday, but I think there'd still be teams who would be willing to deal on terms that are acceptable to us. I do not think that is the case with Bang. I think it's too much of, there are too many question marks there. He has had plenty of time to play in NA and demonstrate that he can, 1v9, that he can be the standout player in a roster, even if the rest of the roster is not, fully set.
Yeah.
And he just hasn't done that. So, and again, like, nothing against Bang. I think he's great. I like having him on the team. But I think from an owner perspective, if you're going to spend, and you'd have to spend, by the way, to get this guy on your team, you have to be super confident that that's the right move, because if it doesn't work out, you've got a lot to answer for.
Yeah, I'm still with you. Like, I predicted this last year that, not last year, before this period unrolled, that I thought Ssumday would be traded away and they go with Fake God as the prospect. I sure still hope that's the case. Not that I don't want Ssumday, because I love him, and if there's any way we could keep him playing with Bang, I would love to do that. But I think that we've seen the way things played out. It's just not an option.
Right.
So him being potentially a piece that has some value to be moved somewhere, that is a thing. But at the same time, I shouldn't even do this, but not to rely on Travis Gafford or whatever, but he's one of the more notable people putting predictions and rumors out there, right, that he's heard, and he didn't have a landing spot for Ssumday in his predictions before he went dark, right?
Right.
So maybe there's a world where Ssumday's still on our academy team. Maybe, some other teams will swoop in to pick him up. I hope we're able to get something in return for his contract, and if I could wave a magic wand and give him that green card, I definitely would.
Yeah.
But, it's just not, in my opinion, it's not in the cards. And I think Bang stays, but who knows? There's lots to happen. There's lots left in this free agency period.
Oh yeah. It's all left. Like, we put this show on the calendar right now because we figured, like, whoa, we're going to have a ton. We got a lot, but it's a lot of, what we know is potentially going to happen, which are potentially quite a few people are going to walk off the roster.
Yeah.
Cole, our long range plan of infiltrating the American government to award green cards to those who, sorry, we're still live. Okay. Never mind. It's I'll save that for our Telegram conversation.
Our Telegram. That's what I do with these headphones later. It's like beep, 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 beep.
I was saying, isn't that an app, a messenger app?
Oh, sure.
Anyway.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I was thinking like a legit Telegram, but here's the deal. It's time to trust the Papa.
Trust the Papa.
It is time to trust the Papa. I have no idea what's going to happen over the next week or however long it's going to be for us to see these pieces fall into place, but it's time to trust the Papa, and there will be more on that later during our next show, whenever that happens to be.
Thanksgiving.
Everyone, it seems like we had an influx of some new people here. Welcome. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you stick around and get to know us a little bit. We are not League of Legends experts as far as the game is concerned, but we're obviously very much into the 100 Thieves community, and we love being here. And we are just on pins and needles waiting to see what happens, with our fingers crossed, hoping that we have a competitive roster, or that the development will be in a direction that, is good for us. So we encourage you to stick around for the ride that we're on, and we'll all become friends for life. Best friends at 100 Talk.
It's a guarantee. Yeah. If you're a new person listening on a podcast or YouTube, VOD, welcome to VOD Squad. Just know that we're on every platform: Twitch, podcasting, whatever, anything you can think of for podcasts, and then YouTube. VODs go up there. So watch how you want to watch. And if you are watching or listening to this later, it's currently free agency night. Catch us live if you can. It's a good time. There's a ton of people in chat. Love to see it. Mm-hmm. And the gifts are flowing freely thanks to the treasury. Dylan, shout out.
That's right. Thank you to everyone for the subs.
Wow.
Now, everyone, we are going to be taking a quick break where we will regroup, and we'll be doing a VOD squad to watch the ESPN free agency show, because Jordan and I haven't seen it yet. So you get 2 doses of 100 Talk tonight.
Get your reactions live.
Yeah, so somewhere 10, 15 minutes, somewhere in there, and we'll be back here on the Twitch to watch that and hang out. And during that, it's a long show. We'll be talking to chat the whole time. So,
is it a long show?
Questions. Yeah, I believe so. I think it's like 2 hours or something like that. So
what?
Jordan didn't know what he signed up for. This is great. Maybe we'll speed it up. Who knows? But come hang with us, chat with us. We'll address your takes and go with the flow. So
get your favorite beverage.
Get your favorite. I will have one of my favorite beverages. So
stay tuned to find out what it is.
All right, you guys. So we'll see. For those of you sticking around, we'll see you in just a little bit. For everybody else, we'll see you when there's more free agency news for 100 Thieves. And in the meantime, remember, trust the Papa. We love you. We miss you already.